Alright, so in this video, we are going to talk about looping. There are times in our programs, in our careers as programmers, that in fact many times, that we would want our code to run as many times as we want it to. Okay, so let's say there's statements that we want to loop through, so to go through, iterate through, and go through as many times as necessary and do computation, right? So it would be really hard if we knew, for instance, we want to display to the screen 10 times the same number or a certain statement. We could very easily do that by copy and paste, 10 times the same statement, okay? But that's not efficient, and that defeats the purpose, right? Who wants to do that? All right, so let's talk about the for loop, okay? The for loop, it's a statement which we can use to loop through data or loop through and display whatever we want to display, okay? Instead of having to copy and paste constantly the same thing that we want to be done. Java has already the for loop built in for us, so we can just use it. How do you create a for loop? You say for, there it is, and as you can see, you can just go say enter, and there's the expression part of thing, okay? So let's go ahead and create the body of for loop. Now, the expression here, the statement we have to put inside here, has to be the following. First of all, we're going to have the initialization of the variable that we're going to use as the counter. So we say int, it's going to be type int, we're going to call I, and we're initializing it to 0, starts with 0, and we put semicolon, and we say I is less, in this case, than a certain number of times that we want things to loop by. Okay, say 10, for instance. And another statement, we're going to increment our I counter. We're going to say I plus plus. So that is the expression, right? First of all, we have the initialization, we have the condition here, the comparison. If I is less than 10, we'll keep going, and then the other statement we have plus plus. You notice here we're finishing each statement with a semicolon. Okay, that means that they are independent expressions here. Okay, so we are initializing, we are looking for the conditions. While this is true, I is less than 10, this will continue going, and as it goes, we are incrementing our I. So at first is 0, next is 1, the second time is 2, and so forth. Now notice something, that everything starts at 0. Alright, and we'll get more into that as we talk about arrays and other things. Okay, so now let's say one here, we can say system.out.print ln, we want to say counting, and we are going to append I. So that means this for loop will go through, it will read everything, it'll say, okay, int I, that's where we're going to start, int is 0, and then I is less than 10. If this is true, it's going to go loop through and going to display this counting 0, and then the second time it's going to compare, say, wait a minute, so now I is 1, okay, 1 is less than 10. Okay, that means that's true. I'm going to keep going. Goes, this is 1, right? And then goes until this statement is not true, and then it breaks. Okay, let's save this. Let's give it a run. And there we go. Counting 0, 1, 2, until 9. Now, you may say, well, why is it stopping at 9? I mean, I put 10 here. Well, the reason being is because, like we said, it's all about comparison, right? It will stop the moment that the condition here we have, it's not true anymore. Because if you put 10 here, in replacing the I, then it will have 10 is less than 10, which is not true, hence it will stop. That's why it doesn't show 10. Good. So of course we can go ahead here and put 20, right? That's the case. It's going to have until 19, right? Start from 0 all the way up to 19. Perfect. So that is the for loop. Now you see there's a lot of power here. There's a lot of things you can do with this. Now since we have learned about remainders, right? Remember remainders? Which we use the percentage sign there, right? We can do cool things here, right? We can now say, well, instead of just saying system.out print ln, a bunch of stuff that we don't need, right? We can just do something real cool here. We can say counting and say I. But we are going to put that inside of an if statement. Let's say we could say if, right? If we can say if I, remainder, 2, okay, let me just give a little space there, is equal to 0, then what I want to happen, let me put equal, not assignment there, we are comparing, let me put that back there. All right, there we go. Much prettier, looking good. All right, so now we are saying, so we are going through this whole process. Okay, going back, we are inside of our for loop. So now inside we say, well, as we go through this, I don't want to just go ahead and count from 0 to 20 or whatever this is supposed to do. I want to be able to do something cool. I want to make sure as I go through, I take the I, our counter, and figure out the remainder. If the remainder of whatever the counter is at this point, right? If the remainder of that is 0, I want to system out I. In this case, I'm just saying I want to show everything that is divisible by 2, okay? All the numbers are divisible by 2, I want them. Let's try this. First time goes around, 0, remainder 2. So 0 divided by 2 is going to be 0, right? And remainder is going to be 0, so 0 should show. 1 divided by 2 is not going to work, so 1 is not going to show. 2, because the remainder is not 0, there is a remainder. Okay, and then we have 2, this is the third time goes around, 2 remainder 2, so 2 divided by 2 is 1, 1 times 2 is 2, so remainder is 0, so 2 is going to show. So you notice that everything that is divisible by 2, or multiples of 2, will show within the range of 0 and 20. You want to see that? Save this and let's run. Look at that. Now we have 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 18, 16. Isn't that great? How cool is that? Now we can start doing really amazing things. Now we can be creative. We can say, for instance, I plus is a multiple of 2. Something like that. Multiple. There we go. In fact, we can get rid of this. There we go. Run again. Now 0 is a multiple of 2, right? Because 0 divided by 2 is 0, 0 times 2, right? 2 is a multiple of 2, 4 is a multiple of 2, 6 is a multiple of 2, and so forth, right? Just because we had this knowledge, we were able to use it, and look at that. What if we want to create something that is multiple of 3? So you divide by 3 there, you put 3 there. All right, save this, put 3. See, now we have it. So it says 0, 3. Now you notice the numbers are different, right? Got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 8. And you can go crazy. You can put 4, save, right? 4 here. Now I'm getting excited. Ah, look at that. Now we get 4, 8, 12, 16. Isn't that great? Wonderful. That's awesome. I love it. Okay, so the next thing we're going to learn is the while loop. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and comment this out. Now, the while loop, we do the same. We have the syntax here. We say while, and we also, obviously, we have the statement. Now, the idea, the expression that goes here, again, goes back to the Boolean returned. So we are saying here, while this condition is true, as long as this condition we put here is true, then whatever's inside here will work. So if we say while, for instance, I is less than 5, we want to say system out print, right? We can say counting again, why not, plus I. Now, we have to understand something here. We have to obviously resolve this issue because I just said I and we have no idea what I is. So what we need to do, we can say int I is 0 from outside there. Okay, so now we know I is 0 because it's initialized, and this will work. So let's go ahead. Now, the main thing you have to remember with while, we have to say I plus plus here. We are incrementing it. If you don't do this, then you get run into issues, right? So save that, and let's run and see. Perfect. So again, it's going through. First time, 0 is less than 5. Yes, it is indeed. And so put 0 here. So as you can see, there is 0. The second time, and as we do that, we increment this. So now this I is 1. Next time goes, I is 1, I is less than 5 is true. This increments to 1, to 2, now it is 2, and so forth, until I is 5, and then stops. Well, because 5 is less than 5, that makes no sense, right? Because 5 is not less than 5. That's where it breaks. Perfect. So now you have a for loop, and you have a while loop. Okay, very simple concepts, but powerful, very much so powerful. I mean, the things you can do, it's just amazing. So now you're able to create programs that are a little bit more sophisticated. Using the knowledge that we've learned, you can now create something a little bit more sophisticated, more fun, and more, hopefully a little bit more challenging, okay? And I encourage you to do so. Find little projects in your head or something you would like to create and go for it and play around, okay? Again, keep breaking things. That's how you learn. All right, I'll see you in the next video.